Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy RB3 here for First Cut, and yeah, I'm doing a review for the new Denzel Washington film, The Equalizer 3. And let's just jump right into it, man, because, you know, for decades, Hollywood has been blindsiding us with an onslaught of white savior films. I mean, how can we forget Tom Cruise training the Imperial Japanese Army in The Last Samurai? Or how about Kevin Costner ending bathroom segregation and Hidden Figures? Or that other Kevin Costner movie where he's like, I don't know, Dancing with Wolves or something. So, like, as Denzel is punching, kicking, choking, manhandling a multitude of goons to help these lowly white folks in this movie, I've come to appreciate how this franchise has subtly and earnestly introduced us to a new black savior complex. Now, let me explain. Now, in this film, Denzel Washington takes on the mob. It's directed by Antoine Fuqua, obviously, if you know Training Day and all the amazing collaborations that Denzel and Antoine have done in the past. This is also co-starring Man on Fire co-star from, you know, Denzel's past, Dakota Fanning. They reunite in this film, and yeah, Denzel Washington returns for the character of Robert McCall to track down some stolen money from some Italian gangsters. After his mission, he settles down in like this quiet village in southern Italy. He befriends the locals and starts embracing the spectacular scenery. But evil comes knocking on Robert's door when a nearby mob family bullies the townspeople. So in Denzel's iconic black savior fashion, Robert McCall ends up fighting on behalf of the helpless Italian folk against the oppressive mafia. I mean, it's beautiful to see. Now, following up the criminally underrated Equalizer 2, the third and final installment of the Equalizer series is more gruesome and brutal than any of his predecessors. Now, Mr. Fuqua is unapologetic with his depiction of the hand-to-hand combat, which is emphasized by the brute strength and agility that Denzel brings to the role. And, you know, unlike other aging movies like John Wick, where all the deaths are kind of frequent and quick and, you know, sometimes kind of happen off screen a little bit, Robert McCall's killing method is very slow and meticulous and decisive. I don't want to say meticulous, but yeah, I mean, if you saw the first movie, he's getting fools like on some Home Alone type vibe inside the Home Depot. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, he really plots it all out. This slightly more grounded, realistic approach to the action balances the intense fight choreography while also making some room for some interesting acting choices, both from Denzel and also just the people reacting to their dying, you know, just from people like seeing them being, you know, seeing what's happening around them. It's hilarious. Now, there are times where he's slaughtering baddies so viciously that you start to question, like, yo, is this dude okay? Is he a good dude? And that's the same question he asked himself throughout the entire film. He's grappling with the guilt of, you know, pretty much axing dozens of people over the years. And he's constantly putting himself in the line of fire just for strangers. So I think that's his way of like coping with it. And you see in the first film when he's like helping Chloe Grace Moretz's teenage sex worker character. And then you see it in the second film where he's like finger wagging at Ashton Saunders, you know, young RZA, you know, to make some good moral choices to stop gang banging with the thugs in the 2018 sequel. So Robert McCall always finds a reason to justify his bloodlust because you always find somebody to care about. And in this film, he doesn't just find one person to care about, he finds a whole community. He finds a way to lend his voice to the voiceless in this small Italian village. You know, I think a fundamental trope to our new black savior complex. And by voice, I do mean hands. Hands that are rated E for everyone. With the two previous US set films portraying Denzel's character as a neo-Western sheriff that's protecting his patrons, The Equalizer 3 takes the adventure overseas. Antoine Fuqua clearly has a lot of fun making this movie, sprinkling in clear homages to The Godfather, Gordo Roma, and several generations of Italian cinema legends. The scenic locations are beautiful, framed eloquently by three-time Oscar winner Robert Richardson, the cinematographer behind the legendary Platoon and a lot of early Oliver Stone work, JFK, a lot of Martin Scorsese work. He won the Oscar for the Aviator, also Hugo, and a lot of amazing Martin Scorsese films. Also frequent collaborator with Quentin Tarantino, including Inglourious Basterds, Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Legendary cinematographer. By the way, very underrated work he did with Ben Affleck's Live by Night. Live by Night was a beautifully shot and executed a film on a cinematography level as well. In this film, in Equalizer 3, Richardson's striking visual eye burst onto the screen in a gorgeously lit opening sequence. And, his style just continues to be apparent throughout the entire film. His cinematography just adds like a whole luminescence to the film. Like, it's a lot of the setting is set in these white mountainside buildings that glisten with brightness and tranquility that radiates throughout the village throughout the day, kind of giving you that sense that Denzel's feeling like, all right, I want to live here. I want to be here for the rest of my life. But then at night, when the criminal underground gets to work, the dreary shadow of the mafia looms over this small town. And that's when Denzel got to get to work. Now, some may wonder why Mr. Washington decided to make Robert McCall, the Equalizer, his career-defining role in terms of like the one that he's doing multiple sequels to, instead of something like, say, Devil in the Blue Dress or Book of Eli. I do think those stories would have a lot of intriguing follow-ups, but I also think in this film, in the Equalizer films, Denzel has a lot more room to just get his characterization off, to get his actor business off. He has a lot of ample opportunities to add human layers to the character whenever he just feels like it, and it just honestly elevates it beyond a normal action film. His performance is more detailed than anything you'll get from like a Liam Neeson or a Keanu Reeves. I hate to say it, but I mean, I love those guys too. I don't love Liam Neeson, but I love Keanu, I love John Wick, but I mean, you're talking about Denzel here. He's going to give you something. During the more hollowing intimidation scenes, Denzel's cooking with the monologues like a perfectly medium steak. I personally like my steaks medium well, but people say I'm like barbaric for that. But let me know if you're medium well or well done in the chat or in the comments. If you're medium too, let me know. If you're raw, like if you like it bloody and you like it mooing on your plate, might want to skip the comments on that one. In the quieter, more peaceful moments is where Denzel's charisma shines, like where he gets a lot of the smiling, goofy, like traditional Denzel stuff that we get off too. For a killer who prides himself on timing and precision, it also makes sense that he's somebody who deals with a lot of OCD traits in his everyday life. And these traits, they were slightly visible before if you're paying attention in the previous franchises, but we've never really seen Robert McCall as comfortable as we're seeing him in this film. So his traits are a lot more visible here. And watching a reformed government assassin now finding solace in this small Sicilian world is refreshing, especially during his encounters with the elderly Dr. Enzo, played by legendary character actor Romeo Guarlone. Now, I hope I get your name right, sir. By the way, this film has a lot of amazing Italian talent. I'm just not even going to try to pronounce their names because I know I'm going to mess them up, and I don't want to disrespect their lovely talents, but I'm going to write them down in the comments down below. I also have a review on Geeks of Color. We could read this review as well. Side note, by the way, he's interacting with the doctor. I also appreciate that this film doesn't spend an over amount of time like harping on his age and his masculinity like all these other aging, action movies do, like Indiana Jones 5 or the entire Daniel Craig, James Bond franchise. It kind of felt like after a while, I'm old, my back hurts, I'm British. But in this film, much to the anticipation of fans, they reunited Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning from their beloved 2004 film Man on Fire, directed by the late great Tony Scott. This is extra poetic because Tony Scott and Denzel have 5 films together, and now this is the 5th film that Antoine Fuqua and Denzel are doing together. So, they're tying each other in a number of Denzel collaborations. But for Dakota Fanning's CIA operative in the film, she's fine. She's okay. Dakota Fanning is serviceable in her role, but her character just spends most of the movie following clues that McCall sends her way. Compared to seeing Denzel Washington and Pedro Pascal square off and a master of silent war, silent acting during Equalizer 2, the new film just doesn't exhibit the same amount of gravitas. Without an overarching conspiracy in play, The Equalizer 3 is a much simpler good guy, bad guy plot. Again, the movie is a straightforward black savior film that sees Robert McCall entering a new land, Italy, right, to help measly town folks overcome their oppressor. Now, you know, some wise film readers might look at that and they might think, oh, that's not a new trope at all. We've seen this before. We've seen like Driving Miss Daisy or Green Book or Ghost or Mr. Church. You know, but however, I will argue those fit squarely into the magical Negro category, where it is the saintly supporting black mentors that are gently guiding white minds into radical ideas like desegregation and inclusion. But in this film, we have our lead protagonist, Denzel Washington, Robert McCall, using strength, resilience, and violence to motivate a meek town of Italians to rise up against the mafia. Now, Antoine Fuqua wasn't shy about sprinkling in some of those religious innuendos throughout the climactic action scene. So if you don't believe me, just watch the film. It's all there. Now, this is The Equalizer 3. It's a throwback action movie that does not pull punches. It concludes the trilogy with a brutal bang. It's bloody and never boring. The new Antoine Fuqua sequel features dazzling oceanfront locations, textured cinematography, and a heartwarming message about finding community. If you're like me and enjoy Equalizer movies just because you love timeless Denzel Washington performances, you won't be disappointed in the third installment. Now, let me know what you think in the comments down below about the Equalizer franchise. If I had to rate this out of 10, so it's like a 7.5. It was a good time. We got to see it in IMAX too, which was dope. That was a good experience. Make sure if you can see it in IMAX, try to, because it was fun seeing that format. That's not like, you know, expanded aspect ratio or anything, but it was good, you know, with the punches and the sound mixing. It was a great film. So otherwise, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Y'all Equalizer fans, y'all Denzel Washington fans, let me know. And what's your favorite Equalizer film? I would probably still say Equalizer 2, man, is really good. Y'all gotta watch Equalizer 2. It's some good stuff. It's a little complicated, but it's there. I mean, you get young Pedro Pascal, you get, you know, young RZA. It's good stuff. And this one's up there too. My last thing about Equalizer, that song that Eminem does at the end of the first film, it's too late to start or over. That film is like kind of imprinted on my brain because I've heard that song so many times as my grandma's watched the first Equalizer film. So, you know, we're big Equalizer fans in this household. So hope you are too. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. It's your boy RB3. Peace.
It's either me or you. It's either me or you. You do the